A lot of communications training starts with the audiences. They start talking about what the audiences need, what they want, what they have to do to get the audiences in. I want you to start with your objectives. What is it you need to do? What is it your organization needs to do to be successful? So start with yourself first. People get stuck when they're writing, and one tip I have for them is to write your objective out. What is your organizational goal, or what is the goal of one particular piece of written communication? It could be something like getting people to come to an event. Write that out on a piece of paper and stick it in front of you when you're working on your written piece of communication. And keep checking back. Keep checking that what you're writing is answering that question. They have to ask themselves, why am I writing this press release, writing this speech, putting out this web copy? It's amazing how often I find people forget why they're doing something. They get all involved in the how of putting out written communications, and they forget why they're doing it. What is it they want to achieve? What is it they need to achieve for their organization to be successful? So I make sure that every time they sit down to write something, they ask that question, why am I doing it? Sometimes people ask before they get here, why am I doing media training? What do I want to say to people? I want them to get a sense that every interview is an opportunity. This is a chance for you to get across the ideas and the information that you need people to understand so that you can run your organization. The main thing I want to get across to them is that they don't need to be a victim of an interview. They should get a sense of control. And they can get this by asking appropriate questions, being helpful, but not letting themselves get rushed into an interview that they haven't agreed to or they're not comfortable with. So they should ask, is the interview live? They should introduce themselves to the interviewer. It's very simple. Make that personal contact. Journalists have every right to ask stupid questions, and sometimes they will, and sometimes they'll do it to provoke you into a response that you don't want to give. So don't argue with the question. You can correct gently. You don't have to go along with a factual mistake, but do it politely, do it carefully, and then move on. Most people can really only hold about 3 ideas in their head at a time, and some people really can only hold 1 or 2. So maybe you need fewer messages. Concentrate on 1 or 2 key points that you want to get across in the interview. Practice bridging from the question that was asked you to the answer you want to give. Don't avoid questions, don't avoid giving an answer, but get to the point. And just like an athlete who practices getting out of the starting blocks, you can practice so that you have the right words at the tip of your tongue when you need them. When you're preparing the language you want to use for your media interview, make sure it's plain and approachable language that everyone will understand. Don't worry about dumbing down. Plain English is accessible to as many people as possible. For instance, if you fell down in the street and you twisted your ankle, you wouldn't say, "Hello, I require assistance." You'd say, "Help!" That's what we need to do in our media interviews.